Let's see. Is it audible now? Sorry for the technical difficulties, everyone. Yay, okay, thank you. Let me backtrack a little bit. Welcome to the October 2022 monthly update, monthly live stream. Thank you all for joining. Glad to see that you are all participating actively in the chat. Thank you for letting me know that you can't hear anything. That was my bad. I got too excited and forgot to unmute myself. But thank you all for joining. Let me backtrack a little bit. We're really excited to share with you all of our new updates in October 22. As I was saying before, when you couldn't hear me, we do have the Azure Data Factory blog where you can keep up to date with our monthly updates. The link is aka.ms/ADF blog. I'll include the link in the video description after this live stream is over so you can easily access that. But if you are familiar with our blog, you probably know that that's where we post many of our updates as well as on Twitter and on YouTube. So for the October monthly update, we do have our blog out already. It has a link to our What's New in ADF page, which you can access as well to learn what's new. We also have a link to our live stream, so if you're unable to stay for the entire time, you can always go back and watch, or if you aren't able to join us at the live stream time, you can, again, go back and watch, or you can find it on YouTube. As for the updates, for CI/CD, what I was saying earlier was that this is something you may have seen in our previous monthly updates, excluding pipeline triggers that didn't change in deployment. That was in public preview, and now it's generally available. For data flow, we now have the option to export up to 1,000 rows from your data flow preview, which is something that I can show you all today in our live demos. For SQL CDC, we now have a native CDC option in public preview, which is also something I'm going to show you today. That was really exciting. We announced that at Ignite, which also happened in October, so I'll also review some of our Ignite updates. We also now have a Microsoft 365 mapping data flow connector, which is also new. It was a big announcement that we did at Ignite. This is in limited public preview, so if you do want access to it, you will need to sign up for that, which I can show you how to do that. For data movement, we have the SAP CDC Connector. This is now generally available. I know there's a lot of excitement around this, so we'll definitely walk through this as well. And if you haven't seen it already, Ulrich's got some great YouTube videos on our YouTube channel that I will also link in the description. For developer productivity, we've been doing a lot of work around this to make getting involved and getting active and being able to get started in ADF is as quick and seamless as possible. So we definitely do have a lot of updates here. We have a learning center in the ADF Studio. I will show that in a little bit as well. We're also accepting community contributions to the template gallery. So if you want to share some pipeline templates that have been really helpful to you, you now have the opportunity to share that with the larger ADF community. I can show you how that shows up in our template gallery. And if we have time at the end of this live stream, we can definitely walk through the process. And if not, I'll post a separate video on our YouTube channel. That way you have a good understanding of how to do that. We have a new design in the Azure portal. So we now have a new button to launch the ADF Studio, which makes it really easy for you to figure out how to launch it. And it has a lot of links to other resources that will let you get started really quickly. And we have an updated quick start experience. This is something that's really cool for us, is that we have this new thing where you can try Azure Data Factory in one click. there's a button on our docs page that says try it now, and it will set up everything that you need to get started really quickly. It even provides you with some sample data, so you can play around with the copy data activity in one click. For orchestration, something that everyone's been really excited about is the granular billing option for ADF. This allows you to see detailed billing information by pipeline. This is in public preview, but you have the option to enable it for your data factory. I can also walk you through that today fairly quickly. It's not super hard. It is only available for ADF at the moment. So if you are using Synapse pipelines, unfortunately, we don't support Synapse yet. Something else that's new is that in script activity, the execution timeout is now configurable. So this is something that's new. By default, it's set to, I think, around 2 hours. Now you can change that to whatever works best for you. And then we also want to call out that we have a new region that we support now. Qatar Central is something that we've recently added. So that is really exciting. Does anyone have any questions so far? And in our blog, we have links to our blogs and our docs if you want to get additional details. And then if you scroll down, or if you click on the description, it should take you down. Oh, it's being a little slow right now, but it's supposed to link, and we have a little bit, some descriptions of what each item is, with some screenshots and some more links. No questions? Cool. I'm going to walk you through some of our Ignite updates. So these are some things that we talked about in this blog, but in case you didn't see, we do have a blog for our data integration news from Ignite, which happened in October. And we have links to the Ignite conference so that you can go back and check out the different links. But for ADF, we had a bunch of really great announcements that we're pretty excited about and are, again, mentioned in our monthly update. But just for you to know, and these are a little bit more detailed descriptions, but the SAP CDC Connector is GA'd. We do have this handy dandy video for you to take a look at it. SQL CDC is in public preview. This is all native change data capture capability. So if you've been following along, we do have SQL CDC where we do incremental updates where you need to choose an incremental, like a water logging like column, a date column. But now we have the option to try for you to do native CDC where you don't have to do that. We do have this M365 connector in limited preview. Again, if you are interested in getting access to it, sign up. The sign up link is here, so you can click on it and sign up. You can read the documentation, and if you are using Synapse pipelines, there's a really cool pipeline template that allows you to unlock insights, and it already goes through and creates a data flow for you to help flatten and pull out the important data from your M365 data. Again, community templates, this is something that's really new. We have a blog out on this as well, so definitely want to see that you all get involved and share with the rest of us what you are doing with your data factory. And then some recent updates that we've made and how to stay involved. Awesome. Again, this is just what's new. And then I guess if no one has any questions, we can go straight into the demos. Yes. All right, demo time. So first thing that I wanted to show you is our new ADF portal launcher. So these changes should have been rolled out, so you should see it now. But if you go to the portal in your data factory, now it's super easy to know how to launch your studio because we've got this huge, beautiful ADF logo in the center of your screen. And all you have to do is click Launch Studio to take yourself into the ADF Studio. We also have all of our quick starts, tutorials, template gallery, and training modules. So if you need any additional resources, you have them right there. Cool. So if we go into my data factory, you might see something new down here. This is our Learning Center. So originally we used to have our Home tab, our Authoring tab, Monitoring tab, Managing tab, and now Learning Center. And this allows you to access ADF resources without really having to go to another tab or another window and have to search up what you're looking for. So Learning Center is your one-stop shop for all things Data Factory. So here you'll be able to see our What's New monthly update. You can try ADF in one click. So if you are not familiar with that new quick start that we have, definitely come to the Learning Center and try it out. And we also have a quick link to the SAP Knowledge Center. So I know there's been a lot of buzz around our SAP CDC Connector. So if you need to get additional resources on it, super easy to get to it. And then we have all these other links that will help you out. So the quick starts, so it's not just the one click to try ADF. We have a bunch of other quick start tutorials that you can check out. We have other tutorials to help you learn different aspects of ADF and how to use it. We have a link to all of our YouTube videos. So if you aren't familiar with our YouTube, we do have a lot of tutorial videos. So if you need to find something, you can easily find it here. And then we have an easy link to our template gallery. So that's a really easy way for you to get started. And then we have all these other links down here if you need to get involved. So we have our Microsoft Q&A if you need questions to ask. If you want to give us feedback, we're always open to feedback. Please give us feedback. It'll take you to a page where you can do that. And then, of course, for community, stay involved with it on Twitter, our blog, and on Stack Overflow. And if you need to learn anything else about ADF, we have all these documentation links and trainings here. Is there an option to stay on the older version of ADF and not upgrade? Can you specify what you mean by the older version of ADF? Are you talking about ADF v1 or are you talking about these new updates that we've made to ADF v2? While I wait for your answer, I'll continue onwards. Cool. So what I wanted to show you first was some of our new connectors. I hope this is not too zoomed out. I'll zoom in a little bit more. But in our mapping data flows, for your new source, I will show you some of our new connectors. So the first one is SAP CDC, and this shows up right away. So if you have SAP source systems and you want to enable change data capture, the connector is here and super easy to link up with. The other connector that was new at Ignite was the M365 one. It's grayed out here because you do have to sign up for the limited public preview. So if this is of interest to you, make sure to go to that link and sign up for access. Cool. A version before these updates. Currently, all of these updates that we've made are rolled out already. Is there a reason why you would prefer previous versions? We can probably talk after this too. You can shoot us an email. But Currently, for example, the Learning Center, some of the UI updates, those are all rolled out. So unfortunately, there is not a way to undo those updates. Okay. Cool. So let me show you what's new in data flows. So when you go to data preview and you view your data, guess we have to wait a little bit for this to load. Okay, cool. So this is something that we've added fairly recently, but exporting the CSV. This will let you view your data transformation. So at each stage, you will have the option in your data preview to export CSV, and that way you can kind of explore your data preview data in more detail if you wanted to. Now we have this new option where you can actually export the top 1,000. So if you take a look at your data preview right now, we've got 100 rows. So we've only got a really small subset. And for my movies data, I already took the liberty of taking a look at it on my storage. I've got over 7,000 rows, right? So I'm only really looking at a tiny subset of it. But now if you want to look at a little bit more data, you can have the option to export the top 1,000. You click it. It will, oops. Okay. It should start downloading. Yep, you see I've been playing around with this, but it'll download a CSV file and you can open that file and take a look at like more of your data preview data. So that's really handy. So if that's something that would help you, please let us know in the comments or leave feedback. Our team would definitely love to hear more about it. Cool. So that's kind of all I had for the new updates in, oh, actually, I was going to show you one more, which was the native CDC preview in SQL. So I already set up my source, which was a SQL database. And so you just kind of go through the steps and choose your link service. And in source options, now you'll see the new option, which is enable native change data capture. So we have a bunch of videos previously about how to do incremental extracting. And so you have your incremental date column that you'd have to select to enable this. But now it's super easy. If you want to switch it over to native CDC, you just click this button. And if you want to start reading from the beginning, you'll get all of your full data in the first run and then all the incremental data. So if you want that, then you can check it. You just have to select your schema name. Oops, it looks like I might not have any data in the SQL database. That's okay. But you just have to select your schema and your table name, and then do whatever else transformations that you want to do downstream, and then whatever sync that you decide to choose. And then you can save it, publish it, and it should start incrementally, or it should enable the native change data capture without having to use a date column. So that's really exciting. And this is not just for SQL database. I think it's for MySQL. And let me double check. Sorry, y'all. It is in our announcement. It is for SQL Server, SQL Database, and Azure SQL Managed Instance. Sorry, I said the wrong thing. So for those options, you will have the ability to enable native change data capture, which is a really exciting advancement for CDC and ADF. So hopefully that's something that is really helpful to you. And if it is, let us know again in the chat. or if there's something that you would like to see instead, also let us know in the comments. We'll definitely take that feedback into consideration. Cool. If in source activity, I have given sampling with 100 row, export top 1000 wouldn't work, right? Does it override the sampling setting in the source activity? Good question. In my debug settings, I have my row limit to be 1,000. I guess we can try, you have sampling with 100 rows. Well, I think it would depend. So are you talking about sampling as in sampling enabled down here? Because sampling is for when you are actually running the data flow. For data preview, you would have to set that in your debug settings. So you can limit the number of rows here. I hope that answered your question. Cool. Awesome. So the last thing I'm going to show you is how you can enable the granular billing view. So that's super simple. If you just go to Manage, there's actually a new factory settings right here. And by default, actually, I think I might have done it. I think it's supposed to be by factory. But I think I just enabled it earlier. But if you wanted to see your cost analysis by pipeline, you switch it from by factory to by pipeline and make sure to publish that change. It might take a little bit of time for it to show up in your cost analysis, but it'll start to show you line items for each pipeline, which will give you a little bit more of a detailed view of what each pipeline costs to run. That's a really new, exciting thing that we have. I know a lot of people have been really pumped up about it. So if you haven't already, definitely give that a try. Awesome. So this next bit before we go, I just wanted to show you some really cool, exciting things that are coming out soon. So if you haven't seen it in your factory yet, it's because it's coming. So just be patient. So this is super exciting. So if you haven't already, we do have the Azure Data Factory Studio preview update. So if you haven't enabled the preview experience yet, this allows you to see some new UI updates that we're making that hopefully will make it easier for you to do your pipeline designs. If you haven't saved, make sure to save, otherwise it'll refresh. But we actually do have a couple of new items that are coming along that we're really excited to show you. So let me open my pipeline. Okay. So this is really cool. We actually have something that's new for your dynamic content. So you see here, I have a parameter, and usually in your for each, you have to set your items. So what we actually have is this new dynamic content flyout where you can easily select your variables, your parameters, and activity outputs. And you don't have to open the expression builder to get to it. So, I already know what parameters I want to use, and I can just click it, and it's there. And that's super exciting to see. So it's going to hopefully make your life a little bit easier when you are trying to select your parameters and variables for dynamic content without actually having to open the pipeline expression builder up and figure out what kind of expression to write. And the last thing that is new to our preview update is let's see. I hope this will let me debug now. So we have a new monitoring view for you to see. So here we have two options. We have the list view, which is what you are probably used to seeing. Give it a second to load. And we have this new hierarchy view. And so for containerized activities or iterations, you'll see that it's now grouped under that iteration or containerized activity. So you see that I have an execute pipeline and a data flow nested within that. And in this new view, it is also nested within that. So if you have many different activities running, you now have the option to minimize it so that you can view all the other activities that aren't contained within that for each or whatever other thing that you have going on. We also have new little icons next to each of the items so you can see what you've been running. And this is something that is not just viewed in your debug. This is also something that you can view in your monitoring. So if I were to go into my monitoring tab, let's see. Actually, let's see. You can also enable the hierarchy view. So instead of having all these items, execute, data flow, blah, 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 and the for each at the bottom, you can see now that these are items that were nested within my for each, and this was not. And so it'll allow you to easily view each of your activity runs. So hopefully these are new features that are new updates that you find very helpful. If so, definitely play around with them when they come out. And if you ever see the feedback pop up, please let us know how you like it or what you'd like to see changed. Again, these are all things that we're still playing around with, and we would love to hear your feedback on how we can make it better for your to make your life easier using Azure Data Factory. But yeah, this one's really cool. And if you haven't seen already, this is something that we also have is these new icons. So now next, if your activity or your pipeline run fails, you have this error button right next to the failed icon so that you can easily see what the error is without having to navigate tab to tab. Or before it was like failed and you would have error here, or in your, let me show you in your output, you would have like failed, and then you would have to go over here or here to read some of the error messages, and it just wasn't really easy to access. But whenever you see a failed icon, you should see a little error thing right next to it so you can understand what happened much quicker. Awesome. Well, that's all I have for you this week. If you liked what you see, or if you like what you see, let us know. If there's anything else that you'd like us to cover in our monthly live streams, please let me know. We would like to tailor these chats for helping you and answering all your ADF questions and showing you all the cool things that you can do with ADF. So if there's anything else that you'd like to see, we definitely want to know about it. But otherwise, thank you all for joining. Again, post your questions in the chat. Once this live stream is over, I won't be able to see the live chat anymore. So just comment on the video once it's posted. Links will be in the video description. So if anything that you saw was interesting, you'll definitely have the opportunity to explore that further with the documentation and other blog and video links. So again, thank you all and have a lovely day.